Hi, it's good to see you again, or maybe for the first time. If so, nice to meet you. That's awkward. So, I am recording this because I'm frustrated right now. I am currently on spring break from college. I'm basically at the halfway point of second semester. So, it's been about 2 months that I've been in school since winter break, spring break right in the middle, and then another 2 months, and then it's over, which is crazy. Crazy to say that, crazy to think that, crazy that it's real and it's happening. It's been this long. I feel like by this time of the school year, I don't know, in high school I would be feeling like totally different right now. Not necessarily better or worse, probably worse, let's be honest, but like also just different. I don't know. I think I would just be sick of all my classes most likely, and I don't really feel that at all. I still feel like I'm settling into my second semester classes to an extent, and it's pretty different taking a class the whole year versus just having them be semester long things. So the reason why I'm frustrated is because I thought I'd have more time on spring break. I just looked at Canvas, which is the platform that my school uses for like assignments and classes and where all of our schoolwork goes, and realized that I have a bunch of things due a week from today, next Monday, which is like the day after my break ends. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of work over the next week to just get all that stuff done. Mondays are usually a big day for me. I have 2 actual classes and then 1 class that's virtual where everything is due on Mondays. So it's like a lot of work for that class due on Monday, and then also another class which is hybrid, which meets Wednesday and then Monday is like a virtual day, so I have stuff for that class also due on Monday. So just a very big day, and then it ends up happening that I'm working on all of my stuff for Monday over the weekend and on Monday, and then I'm never able to really get ahead on this stuff for Tuesday and Wednesday. So those, it kind of trickles into those days. Usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are pretty busy days for me. Those are when I have my classes and have everything due. And then Thursday, Friday, it's like usually things aren't due. I'm trying to get ahead for the next week, so that way, whatever, the whole cycle. So I'm realizing this week is kind of a school week. It's not as much of a break as I thought. And also just like ended up taking on a project with an editing project for the production company that I work for, just on contract, project by project, which is just ending up being like quite rushed, and didn't totally realize how early the deadline would be on this. And so I'm gonna have to spend the next week really just like grinding on those projects along with the everything, my schoolwork stuff. And that's really not how I wanted to spend break at all. I mean, I did want to work on, like I did want to, I don't know, I'm not like upset about doing the editing projects. Obviously, I am the one who decided to take them on. It's my responsibility, my fault, whatever. Gotta stop saying However, yeah, I wanted this time to be a little bit of a break, just like relaxing. That would have been nice, but less than that even. I just wanted to have the opportunity to work on creative projects that I had been putting off because I had more urgent things to do while I'm in school. And that has happened a little bit, but I think all of that has happened in that, all that will happen in that vein has already happened. It's over, that this time's up, and the next week is just going to be grinding on things that I have to do. The editing projects are also due on Monday, so everything is due on Monday. Well, a stage of the project is due on Monday. So, yeah, I have a short film called Sonder that I've talked about in previous videos on this channel, and I wanted to get a chance to work on that stuff, to write some more scenes for it, to plan things out. I would like to have a finished film by the time the semester ends. If that doesn't happen, it's not happening. It's not being finished. And now it's like I don't have time during this break to do that. I mean, if I was, hypothetically, I could be spending this time right now to work on that instead of doing this. It's always a question of, do I work on these older projects that I've invested a bunch of time into and have kind of received no reward from yet, but hopefully one day after another, 50 hours of working on it, maybe I'll get there. Or do I, record a podcast, which really is like a journal for me, something, it's like a habit I want to be doing, not necessarily a project per se. And yet I could be spending time on Sonder. I could be spending time on the Sassafras Story, another film that I've been working on for even longer. And it's like, why did I start Sonder if I was working on the Sassafras Story and I still didn't finish that yet? It's hard to stifle these creative impulses when they come up, and I like to do things spontaneously when I can. I feel like I get the most satisfaction often when I'm doing a project on a whim that the idea came and I just worked on it. And yet I know that I'm kind of married to all these other projects, longer term projects, bigger projects that I started months ago and haven't finished yet. And I really want to work on those as well. And it's hard to do everything at school, and it's hard to balance everything. I was talking to a friend of mine right before I left for a break at the dining hall, and he is an aerospace engineering major. The reason why I've met him is because he's in the film production club at my school, and in the club this semester, we're working on producing a feature film, and he's the one who conceptualized this film. Even though he's not in the film major, film is a passion of his, and it's this project he's been working on for years, this idea and different iterations of it. And I talked to him about, he asked me, like, he knew that I had left the film major, and he asked me, like, what do I think I'm going to do instead? And I said, well, these are the things I'm thinking about, and I'm thinking of dropping out after this semester. And I kind of started to explain why I want to drop out. And I've done this a lot of times with a lot of different people, and I think at this point I kind of don't really expect people to truly understand or respond in a very positive way, and that's okay. I understand it's probably my fault partially of how I articulate things and not saying things the best way. Also just a weird path, a different path, something that not a lot of people probably think about or do, and that's okay. It's just different. It's weird. I get it. And I don't mean it in like I'm so different and people, I don't know. Like just, I feel like everything I say comes across as just like I have my head up my ass, like self-centered and only, I don't know, just whatever. I'm gonna work through it. So I've come to not expect really supportive, great responses to me explaining my situation. And I was actually really surprised that he gave me one. I said, I want to do freelance work full time, and I really want to do that work, creative work. And it's really hard to do both at the same time, to do that and be in school. And he said, yeah, I get it. He said, like, when he was coming into school, he kind of picked his major on a whim, which is kind of crazy for aerospace engineering. If you're listening to this, you're very cool, and I hope you're okay with me talking about you. And he was like, yeah, I came in doing engineering. I knew I still had this passion for film, and I wanted to kind of pursue it somehow. And he knew that working on film stuff, specifically this feature film, would probably drop his grades, and he just hoped that it wasn't too bad. And he said he actually felt like it was pretty bad, like it was hurting him a lot, and his grades were suffering because of it. And it is what it is. But he was just saying, like, he understands, it's really hard to do both things, to balance those things. So yeah, I was coming to that because I was talking about balancing work, being in school, long-term projects. I'm trying to kind of backtrack to what I want to get to. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a position now where I've probably never had, like, my list of random ideas in my notes, in the notes page of my phone, is like teeming with these ideas that I'm interested in doing, and a bunch of different things, different types of things than I used to think about when I was just at home. Going to school has definitely like opened my mind up to different things and just inspired me in different ways that I didn't necessarily anticipate. I've been making posters, like flyers kind of, and using that as a sort of creative outlet, which is something I never really thought about before. But being in this sort of social, communal environment has opened that up as a different medium that is really fun. And just all these different ideas that I have. And at the same time, I feel really unfulfilled for the most part with the creative work that I've been doing since I got here. And I think it's getting a little bit better. I think the podcast is a huge part of that. This stuff is like just being able to articulate my ideas, just to throw it out there, and to occasionally get a response is like huge. And I was watching a creator support video, which is a sort of second channel made by Colin and Samir, who are creators that interview and talk about other creators and the creator economy, make really cool videos. I watched them, and they had made this second channel to talk about more sort of obscure topics, and it was a little bit more casual, a little bit less geared towards mainstream consumption. And I hadn't watched one of their videos in a while, and it turns out they actually had kind of stopped uploading on that channel for a while. And then they made a video saying, we're done here, we're not uploading on this channel anymore, we're going to kind of incorporate this content back into the main channel. Maybe it'll look slightly different, but it's going to come back to their main YouTube channel. And I was thinking about that because the last video that I uploaded on this channel, last video I uploaded on the Story Seeker podcast channel, I was thinking about uploading it on my main YouTube channel. And the only reason why I didn't do that was because I had said in that video specifically, like, something about this channel referring to the Story Seeker podcast channel, and so it was going to be confusing to try to kind of correct that and make it understandable. So I was just like, whatever, I'll just throw it on the podcast channel still. And I thought it was a podcast video. Like, that in my mind, that's what it was. That's how it started. That's like, it was that channel. It was a podcast channel video. And then at the end, I was like, or towards the middle, like when I was editing, I was like, this could actually be a video for the Ben Lerner channel. This could be just a regular video, which is cool. And I was really happy about that because I was like, it felt like, I don't know, just coming back together. Like I've like diverged my stuff, and I'm not even really posting on the main channel at this point. But like, I've gone off in this other direction of journaling and authenticity and like pure emotion, and just like, this is my stream of consciousness basically. And then somehow finding my way back. The other one feels more like it was more surface level filmmaking, content, tutorials, whatever. There were, films, short films. Not that it was like meaningless or pointless or just like, I try to be creative and make art, and, art that opens minds was like the tagline that I came up with. But it felt like, I don't know, I think I realized, especially being in the film program at my school and like learning about storytelling more formally in a way that I hadn't before, it feels like the podcast channel, the journaling is like storytelling almost at its purest form. It's not even storytelling as much as it is just like, again, stream of consciousness. This is what I'm thinking, this is how I'm feeling. It's like storytelling, but without the telling part, or without the, just without the, like films, you're taking these specific moments, you're cutting to specific scenes, specific moments in a person's life. A film will be 2 hours, and that's a feature film, it's a long film. And yet it might take place over weeks, months, who knows? Because it's a selection of these dramatic moments usually, or moments that are selected for some reason or another to be shown as part of a person's life. This is a bit more, it's still a curation in some sense. I can't, unless I'm going around with a camera on my head 24/7, a 360 camera, like I can see everything that I see, and you definitely would not want to see that. Like, it's still curation somehow, I guess. It still is storytelling in a way, or just like documentation in a way. Nothing going to be just like pure observation. However, it feels more like starting from the side of story, authenticity, reality, and then weaving in some sort of story, some sort of meaning, some sort of lesson, some sort of, that kind of thing, something to get from it, a takeaway with that video. And like, as a last thought almost, the production of it, the video, the audio, the music, the editing, really as like tools to tell this story, this part of my life, this event, this happening, this project, this school project that I did, to showcase that as tools rather than the star of the show. The, in the spotlight is like how I did it. There's nothing wrong with either way. There's nothing wrong with what I was doing before, and it's not like I discovered something new or like had never thought of this before. Like, of course I knew that this all existed and like I could do this and whatever. But it's just been cool to see again, like how it's sort of coming back, or how I can like start from a story a bit more as an exercise for myself, starting from reality rather than starting from production, rather than starting from like, usually when I come up with creative ideas, often I think it comes from not a story that I want to tell, but like a visual concept, an editing technique, I don't know, just like something other than story, a formatting. Like, I have ideas of like, I had an idea like, what if I did a film that was made entirely in split screen? There's nothing story about that idea. It's a technique that can be used to tell some story, but then it's like, okay, I have this idea now. If I choose to execute on it, I'm going, and now I'm going to try to find a story. I'm going to try to write a story that fits into this concept that I came up with for a format, an editing technique. Again, nothing wrong with that. I've been dissatisfied with the stories I've been telling, and it feels like maybe this is why. Maybe it's because I'm often not starting with story. It's not the spark of the idea. So it feels like I'm getting there. Maybe this is an exercise in challenging myself and doing something, coming at this from a perspective that I don't normally come at it with. Something like learning from the people around me, the filmmakers that I've been around, the friends that I have here, that like, this is what they do. This is maybe more how they think. It's so weird, like saying this. I'm like, it sounds like I don't know. But just like I'm an alien, like observing humans or something. I articulate things poorly sometimes, I think. My contact is like coming out of my eye. So, yeah. And I think that's like the substance there. I don't know in terms of YouTube channels and what's getting posted where, what each channel means to me. I don't know. There's a lot of gray area for sure. I don't know. Like, I think there's still utility in having the podcast channel. I don't think I would want to put videos like this on the podcast, on the main channel. But at the same time, like, why not? I don't know. I feel like I've kind of, I don't know. It's more just like, right now it feels like it'd be easy to do that because I haven't been doing anything on the main channel and there's no like expectations for it anymore. But then like once if I start posting there again and like start trying to make videos that perform well in store, art, whatever, like polished YouTube videos, then it's like, I'm not going to want to put this stuff on there anymore. Or if I do, I feel like I'm kind of like just sort of taking down some of the brand of the channel. I think it's okay to have a place like this where it's just like, I can throw anything here. I know I can upload like any video, me talking to the camera for 30 seconds about something random, 5 minutes, whatever, like just, I could do that and like, that's fine. I'm happy with that. And really being a journal, and then like things that are in between, like the environmental arts video, the videos just talking about, like my last video, if those end up kind of starting as podcast videos and it's sort of like a podcasty vlog kind of thing, weird mix, if I continue doing stuff like that again, maybe those will end up on the main channel, and that's fine because I feel like they sort of came over, and again, maybe that's how I'll end up working, is like with my polished videos, art, whatever stuff, non-podcasts, I learn from the podcast, I learn from this stuff to like start with story as much as possible. I don't know, it's all hard, it's all a challenge, it's all difficult, it's all muddy and confusing. I feel pretty good about it and feel like I've been putting in work and seeing something from it, which is really like good to see and feels good. So I'm gonna get back to work. I've got a lot of things to do, as you already know. Yeah, hopefully more creative stuff eventually. One day we'll get back to all these projects, and yeah, for now, continuing to practice the habit of journaling, and just doing what I have to do, being efficient with my time where possible, something I'm not that good at, and I feel like I haven't really gotten much better at over years and years of wasting time. It's a whole other thing. Lots more things I could talk about, but I'm happy with how this episode went, honestly. Like, it kind of zigzagged through a bunch of different things that I really was only just starting with, like, I'm frustrated. I just found out that I have a bunch of work that I have to do that I didn't realize, and now I don't have, I feel like my idea with spring break was foiled a little bit. No ums. And it kind of went through a bunch of different things that I've been thinking about and talking with other people about, my family about. So, yeah, I'm just waffling at this point, saying nothing of significance. So that's where I'm gonna end this video. I hope that you enjoyed listening, found something interesting. Maybe try making an oral journal of your own if you'd like. It's pretty interesting to do. It's an interesting practice. I think it's fun. I think it's like ranting to a friend who can't tell you to shut up, and also can't tell you anything supportive either, but you can tell yourself that, All right. I'm really waffling at this point. I hope you liked the shot. I hope my face wasn't too dark. There's a lot of large dynamic range scene, and yeah, I have a tube light set up here in case you're wondering, to try to just give me a little bit extra light, but I don't think it's doing that much compared to the window. But if I turn it off, it probably would make a bit of a difference. Let me just turn it off real quick, just for anyone who's interested. That's off. So, anyways, bye-bye.